How is everyone doing today? Shankar Puri here. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, S&P 500, the VIX, and the 10 versus 2 year yield. So without further ado, guys, let's dive right into the charts. Alright guys, so I just want to point this out to you guys. So this is the volatility index of the S&P 500. So important things that we want to consider is that we are making an uptrend, starting an uptrend for the volatility index. We're making higher highs and higher lows. So we had this base here, made a high. So this was a low, higher low, and it looks like we have this bullish engulfing candle on the daily that closes in 3 hours, and we could definitely head higher. So the reason why I'm bringing this up to you guys is because if we look over here, in 2019 we had a similar type of structure, and again, just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. But I want you guys to consider this is we were heading lower, we were having lower lows, lower highs on the S&P, on the VIX, and then we formed a similar type of pattern, and then definitely shot up in the VIX. And what happened after that was Bitcoin and the S&P 500 had a massive pullback. The reason why I'm bringing this to your attention, guys, is because you really want to consider, yes, Bitcoin is rising. The S&P 500 right now is in a small downtrend. But if we do keep seeing these higher highs and higher lows on the VIX, this can, pull down the prices of all risk on assets. And I just want you guys to consider this, that yes, we are still in accumulation. Yes, I do believe we're going to have a bull run again, especially when we have price discovery for Bitcoin and the S&P 500. But you want to consider the 10-year versus 2-year as well. And what I'm going to do too is that let me overlay the chart for the S&P 500 as well as Bitcoin. So let me just go right here. SPX, new price scale, Bitcoin, new price scale. Okay, so as you can see here, guys, we have Bitcoin in blue and we have the S&P 500 in orange. So let's look at this. So right here we had the S&P rallying. Bitcoin was doing okay as well, heading higher. And then we had, started making higher highs and higher lows. And then the VIX completely shot up and the S&P 500 and Bitcoin collapsed. With that being said, right after that, we had the biggest bull run, year to date. And, I'm going to be honest, we're always going to have the biggest bull run moving forward. That's just how life works. There's more money in the system. There's more people participating. Population's bigger. So we're always going to have the biggest. What's next, right? We grow as humans. So we're always going to have the biggest bull run ever. That's just how it works, guys. So consider that, guys, is that with the VIX moving up, we have the opportunity for this to happen. Yes, Bitcoin is moving up. Yes, the S&P 500 is moving up. But consider that if the VIX does move exponentially up with any type of news that's happening, we could, we have, again, a lot of people are catching a virus. There's a war going on right now. So you want to consider that we could have a major correction before we actually continue heading up again. And I also want you guys to also be mindful of, at the same time, what I'll do too is, I don't know if I can overlay it, but at the same time, the 10 versus 2 year, now what I'll do is I'll just manually do it. The 10 versus 2 year, if we look at it, guys, so the 10 versus 2 year is the dark blue, is almost uninverting. So when it gets to this red line, it will be uninverted. And look at this. We have over here the yield curve inverted. We have the yield curve invert very small, and then it started taking off. And after we had the yield curve invert, we had a rally. We had a rally for the S&P 500. We had a drop for Bitcoin. But after that happened, then we had a correction. So you guys want to consider that. We have the VIX looking bullish. We have the 10 versus 2 year looking to uninvert. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, yes, Bitcoin is going to do well. Yes, the S&P, we're going to reach higher highs and higher lows. But we may have a steep correction before that happens. That is a possibility. So let's just consider that. If you look at the S&P 500, if we just look at the S&P 500 by itself, we are on this. If we look here, we made a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, high, and it's looking like we are making a lower low, right? So where that lower low is, I do not know, but we look like that's what's happening, and we're underneath the 200-day moving average right now. So you want to consider that as you guys are trading and investing. Now, this does not mean, I'm saying we're in a bear market or bull market. All I'm saying is we're having a correction, and we could come down even further. Yes, Bitcoin is pumping, which is amazing, but we want to see how will it retrace. Will we, and this is a great volume candle right here. So it's wonderful that we've got that volume candle. It shows that, when the price comes down to this area, there's a higher probability that we will actually maintain above this structure. But with that being said, if we don't, and we have this correction, that's also a possibility, because we have to see where the price is going to start making another higher high, right? Because the price could easily come back under here, and then we head lower, right? That's a possibility, right? The price could come back down. Once it comes back down here, we need to see what it's going to do, if it's going to head higher or if it's going to head lower. So we want to see where the support is going to be created. So we're going to see when the first bearish engulfing candle, or on the market structure, if we see some bearish candlestick price action, and we can start seeing where the resistance is going to be formed. And then that's when we want to see, what will Bitcoin do? Will it come back in, or will it start heading even higher? So yes, we are in this uptrend, guys. We've been saying that we've been in this uptrend for a little while regarding Bitcoin, but these are just some things I want you to really be aware of, is that be cautious of this right now, guys, is that anything can really happen. I'm just a little bit concerned about the 10 versus 2 year. If we look right here at the USDT dominance, it is looking good for altcoins, for Bitcoin at least. If we look at Bitcoin, if we look at here, we're just at this low here, so we haven't made a lower low. This was the last lower low that we were considering, to say like, hey, you know what, once we break this low, that's when the price, we can say, hey, we are going to have more higher prices for Bitcoin. So right now, just because Bitcoin has been pumping, we haven't broken bullish or bearish on the USDT dominance. If we break down below here, that'll be great, because then we will actually start seeing the price of Bitcoin moving up a lot higher. Once this breaks, the price of Bitcoin will definitely be moving up a lot higher. But just consider this, guys, as you're trading and investing. And let's look at the total. So the total is the market cap of all the cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin. And right now we're just consolidating. We're just in this support and resistance. And as you can see, we are on an uptrend, guys. We made a low, lower low, high, and we're in this higher high consolidation zone right here, right? Let me just put log scales. Okay. Okay. So what I want you guys to also consider too is the bull markets. If you're buying here, that's cool, but the bull markets really start moving exponentially once we break the previous all-time high. So right now, we are halfway in between that. We haven't broken the previous all-time high yet. Buying coins over here and over here is wonderful, but always consider that until we break that previous all-time high, you still have time to get into coins that aren't just to be in a more area of strength. All right, so let's look at Dogecoin just for example. So Dogecoin didn't do anything here, right? Dogecoin didn't really do much until we broke the all-time high in 2017. All right, once we broke the all-time high in 2017, that's when we started moving exponentially with the price action. So you guys want to consider that getting in now is fine, but the prices for altcoins don't really move as much until we actually break the previous all-time high. And you can see Dogecoin is having a kind of pushing up a bit, but until Dogecoin actually breaks this high right here, breaks a high and then forms some type of higher low, it doesn't really matter that this has happened, because then we can just even head lower and make a lower low. So you guys want to be considerate of that, is that Dogecoin is just sitting on support right now. So you can see right here, we're just sitting on this support area. And then once we break this and form a base, that's when we can say, okay, Dogecoin is in a place of accumulation right now. It hasn't broken any type of highs for us to say, hey, it is time for us to actually start accumulating, right? So keep that into consideration, guys, is that right now, yes, the markets are rallying, but there are some factors showing, hey, we may have a pullback, and a significant pullback, before we actually start heading further higher, right? So you guys really want to yes, it is exciting what's going on, but you really want to also protect your capital and understand that, hey, the S&P 500 is it is right here in a downtrend, right? It is right here in a downtrend. We've made lower lows. We made a low, high, lower low, lower high, and then we're breaking here underneath the 200-day. So the benefit right now is that we're at this support zone here. So if we actually drag our fibs from point A to B, let's say we drag it from here to here. So this is an area of confluence right here. And let me see if we drag it from here to here. Yeah, even touches the 50%. But yeah, so if we drag our point A to B from here to here, from the lowest point to the highest point, right now this is a point of confluence of 38.2% and support. So let's see what happens here if we get consolidation of candlesticks and then break this high. But for us to say, yeah, hey, we're back in an uptrend, we would need to actually break this high right here. And once we break that high, definitely looking to actually get back into some positions. But yeah, Bitcoin's moving well. That's amazing. But just consider these things, guys. We have the housing market. We have the housing market right now that is moving bearish. So it's definitely broken the low. So the housing market is still going to be coming down. Yeah, so the housing market is still moving bearish. It's still going to be actually, probably forming lower lows and lower highs. But the reason for that, guys, is mortgage rates are increasing, right? There's no sign right now that we're actually going to be having a pullback in mortgage rates. It's going to be increasing. We're looking for 9%. We're looking for around 8 to 9% right now. And if that happens, definitely, man, you can definitely anticipate higher and higher mortgage rates. And with that being said, you're going to experience lower and lower housing XLRE new price scale. So let me just cross this, guys. So you can see housing went up. Housing prices were going up 2020, moving up exponentially as mortgage rates started decreasing. And now that interest rates are increasing, cost for house is decreasing. So you want to keep that into consideration, is that as we are moving, as this is happening, we want to consider, hey, you know, yes, Bitcoin risk on assets are going to do well, but we do have some indicators telling us that we are actually may have a steep correction before the next rally, and that's something that you probably don't want to be caught in, you know. You know, so maybe if you made some profits, definitely take some off the table, and you know, altcoins, wait until we get closer to the all-time highs, the previous all-time high. I'm just trying to get to Bitcoin here. Yeah, wait until we get to previous all-time highs to get into altcoins, you know, or even closer to that. Just because you know, we could have a pullback all the way back down to here, and it can crush your altcoins back to 24K very swiftly. Don't forget, this happened, this bearish trend here, 1 2 3 lasted 4 weeks, a month. And if we overlay, I don't know, let's overlay, I think Solana was around at the time, or let's overlay Cardano, new price scale. And it doesn't look like it moved down that much. Let me see if I can bring it up. Yeah, it's not really showing, but there was a definitely about 50%. So let's say it went from 40 cents, 60 cents, all the way down to 10, 18 cents. So that's more than 50% of your holdings. You lost 50% of your holdings on this move, right? And Bitcoin was trending up, right? I mean, we had right here, this was the low, and then we had this massive push up, and then we headed back lower, right? Hold up. So let me just kind of give you guys this visual. Right, so we had this massive drop off, then this exponential, you know, this price rally, and then we were headed lower. So altcoins got more destroyed, and then Bitcoin started heading higher. So definitely can be something very similar, and the same things are playing out. The TLT started uninverting, the VIX is showing the same type of pattern. So I do think we may have some type of pullback, a sharp, steep pullback, and then head higher for the price action. So consider that, keep that in mind, guys. And you know, I just want you to understand that breaking the all-time highs of Bitcoin is when we get into altcoins. Before that, it is a bit more riskier. So if we did have this pullback, let's say we had this pullback when everything uninverted, boom, that's when you start getting into the altcoins. That's when you'll start seeing your maximum ROI if that happens. All right, so hope you enjoy your day, guys. Please comment, share, subscribe, and tune in next time for some more altcoin and cryptocurrency news. All right, take care.